No. I'm just going to put a light on in here because it's very, very dark.
It looks really dark.
It
Well,
was very
let's just-
much that Queen album with
Yeah,
just one face.
the Lonely Queen.
Careful.
Not everything is an innuendo.
I think we left the innuendo in the main episode.
Yeah.
To reference a movie, Bright Light, Bright Light.
Yes.
Yes, you can actually see
The guitar.
all the tat behind me now.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
But what I also see, fittingly enough, a box, a red box. I think it's a box. It's a bit blurry. So yeah,
It is a
that
box,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm into the box business, or I was. I think we mentioned it in last week's episode or the week before there. I got inspired by our friend Adam Savage. So I wanted my own hardware store. And of course, Sortimo boxes is out of the question. And then I found out that Stanley had some boxes that a lot of people use and that I like. So I ordered them, 10 of them. No, 12 of them. With the plan of making a cabinet and then filling them up and then buying 12 more to double up next month. And lo and behold, they arrived at the postal office the day before my birthday. So I was so joyful. Got to the post office, got them home, and I was going to open them. It's my gift to myself. And then I started looking at the box with huge ass letters, made in Israel. Now, I know that Stanley has some manufacturing capabilities there. I just didn't think it was the boxes, but turns out it is. And Stanley has some ties to the American Navy military, which is dubious enough in itself. But when they also have production facilities in Israel, I had to return them. I can't spend money that might trickle down to the government and the people who run things over there at this point. So I'm in the search for some new boxes. And oh Lord, that is difficult. Because you need the perfect box. Because you just want to buy this once. And of course, if you need to supplement, it should also be a brand that's not discontinued tomorrow. So it needs to be a well-known brand, but it also needs to be cheap. It should have the right size and the right type of latches. And you might think that this doesn't matter, but it does. It needs the right color. And when you start adding that up, it's difficult. It's not many to choose from, and the low price is seldom a part of that equation. And then someone tipped me about a video I saw several years ago. The Norwegian YouTuber Alexandre Chappel, he's 3D printing everything, and at some point he made his own boxes with 3D printed parts and made the plans available. And I looked at the video again, and that looks bloody marvelous, didn't it? Yeah. So then I went and bought his plans. So now I can 3D print all the hardware. And this is good, right? Because then I can make as many boxes as I want. They will never run out. If I need more boxes, I can make more. And then I thought, all right, I'll start by making 10. So then I figured, all right, you can choose from a lot of different materials and thicknesses. So, all right, 8mm plywood that is light enough and sturdy enough. And I found the local hardware store. I say local, that is loosely. It's an hour drive away. Um, they sell smaller birch plywood, 8 millimeters in at the right price. So I thought I'll go there and I'll buy 8 of those sheets, and that should be enough for 10 boxes. Got in the car today, hooked up the trailer, drove an hour, and it turns out that store, they store their plywood vertically. That means that because of the temperature and humidity in the air, a banana would look straighter than a tailpipe than any of these plywoods. And like, I could not get myself to bring them home and wet them and put them under pressure to try to get them back into shape. And
It'll
the
never
guy,
happen.
no, and the guy behind the counter, he said, "Oh, are you bringing that big trolley empty?" Yes, because you're storing your plywood vertical, so it's bent like crap. And he's saying, "Yeah, that makes sense." So they're not going to do anything about it. But it's one of two, I feel. Either they store them vertically, or else they get them into the store with a forklift, and to be able to put them down on the rack, they just like put 2 beams to be able to put them down, and then pull the forklift out, and then just leave it there. All that weight with like a meter and a half between those 2 beams, it's sagging. So there is no hardware store anywhere close to me who know how to store plywood. Of course, there's a plywood company in Oslo that specializes in this, but their prices are not the cheapest. But at some point, I mean, if you want decent plywood and straight plywood, you have to bite the apple. And but then I started calculating, and then it's not going to be cheaper. I might get it down to the same price, but then all the hours of printing, then probably also fucking up some settings on the printer. So you have to do it again and again and again. So I like the idea of the plywood boxes, and you can fix them and upgrade them and whatnot. But yeah, it's not cheap. And then of course, do I want to spend days with the table saw cutting small squares and then messing up some measurements and having to do it again, and getting a brad nailer to get everything together and glue and squeeze out? And like, the more I started thinking about it, it might be a blessing that they had warped plywood at the hardware store today, so that I did not get it. So now I'm back at the plastic boxes. I found one that's relatively cheap, so I ordered one just to get it to see if that will work. But it's not anywhere near the Stanley one or the Sortimo ones. But that got me thinking, though, and this is a question for you. The Sortimo ones, yes, they are expensive. But if I look at what I get paid per hour, and I start calculating how many hours I would use making the one in the plywood, I'm pretty sure with the rate, at least the rate that the company is charging for my hours, is way more than a Sortimo box. So that would help soften the blow, wouldn't it, of spending that money on some decent sorting boxes?
But on the flip side of that, you just said ones that are still in production so you can get more, and Sortimo have stopped producing those
Yeah.
boxes now. So what there is what there is what there is. So if you manage to find 10 and then you decide you want another 10, you
Yeah.
can't get them. And then you'll be back to square one.
That's true.
I'd go with making them because they're going to last longer, surely.
Yeah.
But it's going to be heavier.
It is going to be heavier.
It doesn't matter, though, because it's going to be in the rack and you pull one out.
Hmm.
And of course, the thing is, I'm probably gonna end up making them. And when I downloaded Alexander's plans, I already saw that I would like to modify them. I might keep the main dimension so that all the internals that he has made for 3D printing that will work, but some of the hardware on the outside I would redo probably. And what he doesn't have, but what I want is, even though if you know that in this case you have all the washers, I would like to be able to pull it out and have a see-through lid. And of course that adds to the complexity, because then I have to make every lid on the CNC with an outcut to inlay a 4 millimeter acrylic glass. And of course, that's going to take time, and cutting that on the CNC acrylic is a bit painful. So then I need a laser, and you need a CO2 laser to cut clear acrylic. So it might be cheaper to build the boxes yourself if you just look away spending 3,000-4,000 pounds on a laser and some materials and hardware and filament.
Do the lids need to be transparent?
If you want to see through them, it sure helps.
Yes, yes. But do they need to be transparent? If you label the boxes clearly, and they're in a rack, so surely if they're in a rack and you've got the label on the front, this contains
No,
number 10 screws.
they don't.
Then you just pull it off and you open the box and there's your number 10 screws or whatever else you're keeping in them.
Yeah. No, so you don't. And of course, it's very easy to do that later to the lid if you want to, because you just screw it off, put it in the CNC, and cut out the hole. But that you, I mean, if you start that slippery slope, then like, do you need walls on that box in plywood? Could it just not be a cardboard box? Because I got a lot of cardboard boxes now after I bought all those IKEA drawers, and I could 3D print inserts in those.
But I mean, we don't have to make it too complex, too difficult on ourselves. Because I mean, you're gonna make a big box with smaller boxes in, right?
Yeah.
So just make a transparent lid for the big box instead. So you can see all the things when you draw it out, and you open that lid and pick out the box that you need. Then you can see everything, because you don't need lids on the small boxes, because you take them out. And then you just can make the big box sized after a standard sheet of acrylic instead. Then you don't have to cut it.
Amongst your armory of objects, have you got a metal brake? Do these boxes even need to be plywood? Because you make them out of thin aluminium and just fold the sides up.
That would be nicer than plywood.
It would, and I saw another maker. He has of course bought some old metal folded sheet metal storage solutions, which looks bloody amazing. He's used them in his entire shop, but they are expensive. So that's, yeah. I always wanted a brake, so
Or you can practice your welding.
yeah. But then there is, I don't want to. I don't want to make a video of me making 20 boxes. And I don't want to make 20 boxes. And the thing is, I have the attention span of a gnat. So the first one is going to be halfway decent. The second and the third is probably going to look nice. But the 17 rest of them, I'm going to get sloppy and careless, and yeah, so I'm thinking this is storage for tools. I'm not into shop infrastructure. So I mean, if the storage boxes are within the price range and pre-made in a place that I can, with a conscience, purchase them, then this is a problem I'm very much happy just paying myself out of.
Yeah, if you find something that you're happy with.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, otherwise, I mean, you could do a combination of materials instead. I mean, if the problem is finding flat plywood, use an aluminium sheet for that and add on wooden sides. Just screw them in. You don't have to break them, bend them, anything, do something
Yeah.
wrong. Then you get the best of both worlds. If you can get the metal at a fair price, that is.
Yeah.
And just put acrylic sheet on top. Then you're done. Or you pay money for someone else doing it.
Or throw money at it.
Yeah.
The quicker and more boring way, but probably might better in the long run. If you find a good place to throw money at, that is.
Yeah. And that's a problem, because the boxes that I have today, they are £2 a pop, and they work flawlessly, except that each compartment is fixed, so you can't reorganize. And if you want to empty one of them, unless you want to pick up 250 small nuts with a tweezer, you have to empty the whole thing to get to it.
Yeah.
Because so if they had those with some sort of insert boxes that I could 3D print, that would work perfectly. I don't need fancy handles and whatnot. What annoyed me though, I left one of them because I bought more than it fit in the rack that I made, and I left one of them in the windowsill. And it turns out the plastic in the ones that I have, they get very brittle. So I tried to moving it here the other day, and it just cracked into several small pieces. So it's not a big issue, but it would be nice to be able to leave a box in a windowsill for 4 or 5 years without it disintegrating. So we'll see. This is going to be a part one. I'm probably going to rant on about boxes for the next few episodes, and the problem is, I'm now so fixated on these boxes, because when I was driving home today without the plywood, I was like, it's not a big deal, because I have storage for all these bits and bobs that I have now, and some spare boxes. So it's not like I need this now to function. But still, when I came home and hit the couch and like, all right, I'm now searching for assortment boxes with clear lids, and metal latches, and not more than 2 latches, because I don't want to open 4 latches to get the lid open. And the lid should be mounted in such a way that there is a lip so you can slide it into something. And I can't really just let it go, and that annoys me. But hopefully tomorrow I find something else to hyperfixate on. Hopefully something that I need oak materials for. Because I also have more oak in my workshop than I have room for. I was going to say unfortunately, but I'm very happy to. Because I got a message here the other day from Rolf, and he said he has some oak that he is going to adopt away, and asked if I were interested. So yes, I'm interested. And I ended up with 2 oak boards, 2-inch thick, close to 4 meters in length. I got them into my workshop, but I'm now stumbling over them every time. So I need to cut them down, and I don't have the bandsaw to cut it lengthwise. So I need to figure out, or I have to come to terms with that I don't need them to be 4 meters. If I can cut them down to 2 meters in length, it's easier to store them. am I going to build a table or a bench or anything longer than 2 meters? Probably not. Um, but I don't have room to buy a new bandsaw that can take that width and thickness and break it down into thinner materials. So, but that's a luxury problem. That is.
Yeah, and they did have some cracks and big knots and that sort of thing. So maybe that is good places to cut it as well.
Yeah, and luckily that was at least on one of them that was roughly on the middle. So that is a natural cut point for that one. The other one is less defective, or it doesn't have as much knots and whatnot in the middle. So I could put them outside under the rafters of our outdoor summer house or whatever it's called in the garden thingamabob. But then again, you have the moist air and the temperature differences.
Yeah.
You would like to store it dry, and so
Those lovely boards would be nice and all twisty when you come to use them.
yeah.
Exactly.
Then they would match the plywood if I ever
Exactly.
choose to get it. Yeah.
I mean, that would be really fun to make. Not to go back to the sorting box thingy, but to make boxes that are wonky. I mean, because you have a 3D printer, you can make wonky boxes as well. It doesn't have to be square.
You,
The banana storage.
I'm so crappy at woodworking, so I made these boxes, and they're not square in any direction. But luckily, I got a 3D scanner, so I can scan them individually and make a 3D insert that fits like a glove.
Just call it the banana stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of ordering stuff, I almost got paid double for the UK ETA. That I mean, you have to pay a fine if you want to visit the UK nowadays.
Oh yeah.
But
What?
so yeah, so
Really?
it's 20 quid.
The
You
Brexit
have to pay.
tax.
Yeah.
Bit bloody expensive to come here, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like you don't want us to. So I fired up the app and filled in all the things. I mean, you have to say that you're not a terrorist and you haven't done genocide or war crimes and that sort of thing. And then I got to the final stage. We're gonna pay, and I tried my best to push that pay button, and nothing happened because the app was broken in some way. So then I rage quit that, and then I had a thought. Wait a minute, there rings a bell somewhere here. So I checked my emails, and yeah, I did this last year, and it's good for 2 years. So I already paid last year, so I don't have to pay again.
No.
That's why you couldn't buy it again. You see, the system is so good. It wouldn't let you buy it because it was thinking you've already got a valid past visa ticket
Yeah.
token, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
Because Maker Central is coming up. I realized that it's when this episode is live, it's the same weekend, the half pint. So that's
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm almost done with all my pre-fixing. But I realized that last year when I went, I had a chat with Red Rocking Bird. It's a YouTube channel who makes focuses on clay stuff. She makes a lot of, and she likes air drying clay. So we talked about, and she was sculpting to go back to May the 4th, a Grogu doll out of clay. We talked a bit, and I said that I always wanted to try it, but I never had a project for it. And she just gave me a piece of clay or a pack of clay. Here, you have some to play with. And that has laid unopened in my workshop since then. I mean, air drying clay have a shelf life about a year. So just a couple of days ago, I actually opened it and tried out to make some shapes to see, because I've seen a lot of people do stuff with it online. So I have a lot of knowledge, but not wisdom. And you know what I mean. I think I know how stuff work, but I haven't tried it. So now I'm putting it to the test to see how long I will come with it. Because you never know. You might be really good at it because you've taken lot of stuff in via osmosis, or you're really crap at it. And so far, the test piece seems like it's fine, at least. It was some really simple shapes. So, but yeah, my goal is to actually have tried it and actually made something before I go. So if I see her again, I won't have to lie or be. Yeah.
Or you could just present it and go, see, I did something with the stuff.
Still wet.
Ignore that.
I'm not going to go into the time frame of when I made it if it comes up in discussion. Hopefully she doesn't hear this. If then I'm sorry it took so long, but I am doing it and the clay is fine, so it's fine. Everything is fine. No one has time for anything.
Making with massive apologies.
Yeah. I actually I thought about it here the other day that yeah, like Maker Central is coming up real soon, and yeah, still very happy not going. Of course, it's not like I don't want myself the experience, because I did order a trip to Paris to go to Disneyland, so it's not like I'm not gonna experience going to a venue with a lot of people that I don't want to talk or interact with. So I'm getting my dosage this May.
I think there will be more people at Maker Central that I want to talk to than there will be in Disneyland. Hopefully, at least.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I mean, it sounds like it's not going great for them to get people and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I was from Maker Central. I was kind of doomy gloomy last year and saying that this is the last year it will be, and this year from now it looks like it's going to be the last year in my mind, because how well stuff is going.
I have noticed they have been doing a lot of social media pushes
Yes,
this year, which may suggest that they are desperate to get people interested.
Yeah. I noticed as well that I think they have pushed like every maker who is going except me. It feels like showing the headshot. No, it's not. I think I did a quick calculation. I think they have featured like 55 to 60 of the 75 that's on the web page, and so far, not me. So I guess I'm not a selling point.
No, they just haven't got round to you yet.
Yeah.
There's still time.
I mean, I've just passed or 600 subscribers.
Don't you know
I'm
who
a big
I am?
time. I'm the definition of a small channel.
Yeah, not everyone can skyrocket into stardom as some of us does. So
Are you still grumpy that Phil has more subscribers than you?
I think he's furious.
yeah, fuming. Yeah,
He's putting on a brave face about it, but actually,
Ah.
I mean, every day I do notice that my subscriber count sort of dips by one. It's you, isn't it?
yeah. And then just have
You
to have
resubscribe so you can do it
think
again
about
tomorrow.
it, and then I resubscribe. Yeah.
Rage quitting every morning.
Well, that being said, though, I haven't. It hasn't been a climb at the same rate, but there has been some drizzle on the townspeople as well. But yeah, it's not reflected in the views or in the videos. So I'm not sure. But then again, I did not have 55 subscribers after the May the 4th video, so Yeah, still more views than subscribers, but those two graphs are getting very close to intersecting.
Well, I was fine, not wanting to get into the weeds of YouTube statistics because it's just not that interesting. But I was just looking at the last video, the JBOD video, which has had I don't know how many views, but if you actually look at the stats, I looked at it the other day, and at this point it had about 2,500 views, and of that, most of it was YouTube recommendation.
Yeah.
Actual subscriber views was like it was less than 100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's never anything.
So I'm assuming that you have all these subscribers. It maybe get pushed to their feed, but then not necessarily. Because I know that you've done a video which you put out, and I had no idea that you put it out. It was your guillotine video. It
Yeah.
It didn't turn up in my subscriber feed.
And that's the thing, though. I saw when you, KJ, launched a video, and I went instantly to YouTube to watch it. Couldn't find it, and when I pressed on my subscription tab, I had to scroll to find it. It was showing me things I did not realize I was subscribed to. So it's annoying. And I had a comment actually on the last video of someone saying, I'm subscribed to you, but I've never gotten anything, but you have been doing things that I would have liked to have watched, but no, YouTube hasn't presented it. And that is annoying. That it kind of counteracts the point as I see it with the subscription part, because if I subscribe to something, it's because show me more of this. When that person does something, I would like to know. But no, it doesn't.
Is that about that bell that you have to
Yeah, but
ding to actually? I mean, it
doesn't
seems like
work.
they're painting itself in a corner.
Yeah. And the other thing that doesn't make sense either. Okay, you launch a video, and then if people interact with it, write a lot of comments, likes, and watch it, then this is really popular, so we should push it more. That makes sense. But I have videos where more than 50% of the people who have watched it has liked it. And in my mind, that is pretty good. If you're making something and you show it to random people and half of them like it, in my head, that's good metrics. But those videos can easily be like, no, 10 out of 10, and they're just being dug down and hidden behind crap. So, yeah, I don't get it.
I don't think anyone does.
It's one of life's greatest mysteries.
Yeah.
Great mystery, really.
Well, yeah, all right. It's not exactly the hanging gardens of Babylon, is it?
No, I wouldn't say.
Was that the cat?
No, that was my downstairs neighbour. I assume there is a sport on.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those people that when a sport is on, he makes
Noise. Yeah.
noise.
Sounds like a weird Pavlovian reaction.
I have a similar sort of like equal and opposite reaction to his noise, as long as lines of shut up. That's the thing with these flats. You know, everybody hears everything. Very poor sound isolation between them.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the couple upstairs are very pleased to see each other.
Oh yeah, I will. I don't want to ever go back to living in a multi-family house. That
Nope.
sounds.
When I went to uni, a friend of mine he rented a downstairs flat, and the people living upstairs was one of his teachers, and she was of a short stature, so she always used high heels to the point where she also used it at home. And we all laughed about it. Yeah, that's annoying. And then I remember visiting him and like, this is beyond annoying. This is a war crime. This is like, yeah, no sound insulation, and for being such a small statured lady, would have the mass of a black hole because the weight she put on those heels to make that noise. Yeah.
It's a lot of weight on a small surface.
Yeah, that's science and shit. I can't remember the exact one, what it is. Whether you concentrate pressure in a single point, blah, 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 something or other. It's been a long time since I've done science at school. Done a science.
Oh no, I'd done a science.
But speaking of crime and flats, I read it in the newspaper today. It's a thing, and it's going to go to court probably because it's a company in Gothenburg who had a house with rental flats, and then they told everyone, "Oh, we're going to do a big renovation of everything, so everyone has to move out. We're going to get you new stuff, and you sign this contract, sign away your right to live here thing, and you will have." You will be offered new rental flats when we're done. So a lot of people moved out, and then they renovated the entire place. And since they had no renters, they owned all the things. So then they converted it to be not rental, but what's it called when you own your flat instead? Yeah,
Leasehold?
whatever. Yeah, whatever it's called. So now all the flats are out on the open market to be sold instead.
Wow.
And they said no, but yeah, you had a right to a rental apartment in the house, but there are no rental apartments anymore. So sorry, there's no flat for you.
Oh, dude. No. But
That's really nice.
hey, that's business. We're going to screw you over. We could do the decent thing, or we can make a shitload more money. How about the making more money thing?
I mean, I'm amazed how some people work.
Yeah, but
I'm
How fun
amazed.
can it be go to work just to screw people over like that?
It takes a special kind of arsehole to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens because I guess that a lot of people want to take them to court.
Oh,
but
no.
I always wondered with that. I mean, if you live in a bungalow, that's fine because that is your house on your land. And once your house is 100 plus year, you have to do major renovations to it. And if you're lucky, you can do it while you're living in said house, or you have to move out while work is being done to the house, and you can move back in. But how do they do that in these multi-story skyscrapers where you have hundreds, if not thousands, of people living in apartments? And at some point, the rebar in that concrete is rusted to the point where this is not safe of a structure. How do you rehouse thousands of people because you have to tear that down and build it up again? And the cost of that, will that be, I mean, yes, you are dividing it, but it's not like you can do small patch up works like you can do on your bungalow. Like, this is good enough. So once the structural integrity of a skyscraper is past its limit, then all right, you have to tear down and build a new one, and then you got no say in it when you're living there. Then, of course, if you pay down your apartment, and then of course they have to rebuild it new again, then all right, your communal cost will skyrocket. But I think that they, at least in Norway, they haven't built high-rise buildings like that for long enough time to that be an issue. But I've been driving past some of them, and at some point, that old crappy thing needs to come down. What do they do with all the people?
I think my feeling is that the the ones owning owning the building either sell it on to someone who cares less, or they just stop maintaining the building for long enough that it becomes really crappy to live there, so people move out, and then it slowly empties itself over time.
Yeah, but that's the problem though, because many of these they're built by companies, but they sell them off. So it's a joint ownership of that entire thing by the people who are living there. So they have like a board of the directors or what they're called that governs all the communal parts, like is sweeping the streets and mowing the grass and taking care of the snow and whatnot, and painting the facade. So it's the people who are living there that's owning it. I mean, if it were,
Okay, in that case, then there's their problem, and
yeah,
then they try to fix it while they live there. But if there's a big rental, then I just think they let it fall down
but
by itself.
that's the interesting
Yeah,
thing, because it's one thing when you need to paint it, and then there's always the old people like, why do we need to paint it, it's good as it is. So there's always any maintenance you would like to do on like a communal unit like that, it's a pain in the ass. And then when you're going to try to explain to people, yeah, you have to move out for 3 years because we need to tear the entire building and build a new one, and the cost of that is going to be twice the amount that you paid for your apartment here 50 years ago when this was new. That is going to be I don't want to be in that board meeting when they're trying to pull that
right.
decision off.
Well, these buildings are thrown up by developers, and as soon as there's a problem, what do you know? That developer went bust, and your contract was with that original developer. So it's now being handled by this conglomeration of developers, same people, same board of directors, but new name, new tax invoice, and your contract is slightly different. That's a problem that's
Yeah.
happening around here with all these huge amounts of houses that are being built. Developer buys a plot of land or agrees to build on a plot of land. People take out their enormous mortgage for their tiny house, but they don't own the land that the house is built on, and they're paying an annual rent to the developer.
Yeah.
And this every year, this rent goes up and up and up, and in some cases, doubling every year. So you're paying a mortgage, and you're also paying 10 grand a year in ground rent. So I've bought a lottery ticket. To go and buy my 100 acres of woodland with a clearing in the middle for a small and very sturdy bunker style bomb-proof cabin. Access is via a drawbridge. And no one is allowed to watch a sport in the local vicinity.
Sounds good.
That being said, though, oh yeah, my phone is on silent. Nope, no unanswered call from the Euro jackpot. So
Maybe next week.
maybe next week. Maybe next week.
Gotta keep believing.
Have any of you ordered anything from India before?
Not that I know of.
No.
I found a GPT Deep Tool Organizer box with 10 removable bins. 2,000 169 Indian rupees, which is 20 quid. I mean, it's reasonably priced, and
Reasonably priced. What's the scope on getting more? I think you're probably better off heading down there. Well, I say better off. It's a loose term, isn't it? AliExpress or Temu. But then, nah.
but
Pained noises.
I have been on said sites, but they don't carry these. I mean, they carry the very, very, very flimsy, cheap ones, but no. I was kind of hoping that they had knockoffs of the real deal. I mean, Sortimo with double eyes or something like that, but no. So for some reason,
Spotted like a cow.
It's weird that segment. It's not like, nope. The pirate copies and whatnot is like, nope. This is not for us. We're gonna leave this.
I'm just thinking, Work Pro. Surely Work Pro, who are
Is that a brand?
It is a brand, and they are
Work Pro.
workprotools.com. Hand tools. Because they make all kinds of things, and I do know that they've been handing out a lot of free stuff to YouTubers. So you might be able to get a shed load for free.
Work Pro China Organizer Storage. I mean, they're not hiding it.
Oh no, they are cheap as chips. I'm seeing moving bags, but I'm not seeing. You see, they've got sorting boxes in the damn. Hang on a minute. Copy. This is the half pint, everyone. We're allowed to do this. You can't see what we're doing, but
it comes down a bit to how big you want the sorting boxes to be. I use the Rocco system, but that might be a bit small for what you're after. But it works really well.
Well, Rocco has some that are very close to Sortimo in size and design, but then they get pricey again.
Yeah.
I just realized something as well. The one that I bought to test out, it's one of those I just showed you a picture of, which is great podcast content. That's the same box as they have at Biltema, actually. So I could probably just pop down there tomorrow and have a look at it. But that means that I've already had a look at it, and it's just like, But that was before I found out that I have a conscience and price matters. So,
well, it's hard to make those two align.
yeah. Sometimes I wish I would have less.
To both have a heart and a brain.
Yeah. It's not proportional to my wallet, though.
Yeah, that's the problem.
My job don't pay me to have a heart.
We're only interested in the brain. Thank you.
All right, yeah, the 17-inch plastic toolbox contains 18 removable compartments with a transparent cover, special sliding designs. Shop now. Buy now on Amazon. Currently unavailable, of course. We don't know when it's going to be back in stock. Nope.
That means that they ordered a limited run of something from a Chinese producer and slapped their logo on it, and once it was sold out, it was so. Yeah. And that's the thing, though. In the local hardware store, which KJ knows, Biltema, they've had some good tools that they just discontinued, and I found them on AliExpress. And that means that they have a purchaser high up in the organization, like, all right, we need 10,000 of these tool organizers. And then if they don't sell out fast enough, it's like when they sell out, like, yeah, we're not getting any more of those. And of course, me buying one of them with the intent of buying 3 or 4 more over time is like, I'm screwed. So I have the top cabinet for a tool cabinet, where I also thought I'll get the bottom part later once I have room in my workshop. And then when I had room, they've discontinued it. So here I am. Yeah.
So if any of our listeners have a good suggestion of some kind of sorting box to make life easier for Haavard, then please chip in.
Yeah. Or even better, if you are in need for it, because I found one company, German company, that makes some fantastic boxes. But to make it affordable, you need to buy a pallet with 400 boxes on them. And I only need 20. So if we can get together and buy 400 boxes, if you need 20, 30, give me a call. We might have we can split the shipping.
Or we'll stick a podcast sticker on them and stick them in the merch store.
or that, and then
Yeah.
Make crude mistakes sorting.
And if you buy a box, you're in the metaphorical hat of winning a sticker as well. So you might get lucky.
Full circle.
Not a free box we can't afford to give away too.
Some of them will have some random screws.
I tested it out to make sure that it fitted and it didn't. So they're now for sale.
Yeah. And then,
I've got 400 to get rid of.
And I also got a couple of bins with some flathead screws. I can throw those in as well because I'm planning on throwing them away anyway.
Oh, flathead screws. Bane of my life. Although I've just had a comment on that video saying, how could you? I saw you use flathead screws. I thought I'd address this now, live as it happens, just in case they listen to this podcast as well. I used flathead screws because I had them at hand. Simple as that. I needed 2 really small screws, and the ones that I happened to have were flatheads, so they got used.
And now you have less flathead screws laying around.
Exactly.
Because they're permanently fixtured there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best use of them. Screw them somewhere where they won't come out.
They'll never be used again. Yep.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Retired position.
All right. So then the saga continues another time.
I think this one's going to run and run, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. You'll never be finished with your workshop. And none of us will. That's the point.
No. No. All to right. Quote somebody, nothing is ever perfect and nothing is ever finished.
Yeah. 100% is just theoretical. You'll never get there.
So you're never 100% dead? I mean, that's a...
I mean, all the bacteria in you and that sort of thing, that's part of you. You're never totally gone.
Yeah. So then we can end this episode on a positive note. Nice.
Cramming in some death talk there at the end as well.
Just to pep it up a bit. Oh yes.
Once all is said and done, once your physical form has left this physical plane, the bacteria will carry on looking for sorting boxes.
Makes perfect
Brilliant,
sense.
brilliant.